Well, this is a very tilted view. I'm just now seeing it on my watch. Doesn't matter. We're here doing workout 4 out of 5 for this week. We are, I think, 23, 22 days away. What's today? Thursday? Then Friday would be 21 or something like that. So yeah, just about 3 weeks. Of course, I'm behind. Of course, I'm not going to look my best. Yeah. I'm trying. I'm still doing like 1,100 calories a day. And, it's tough. But it's not as hard as I thought. Like, I'm able to do it. My mental willpower, physical willpower, discipline, whatever you want to say, has been holding up really well. I've been on this diet now for only 2 weeks, I think, so it's not that long. Yeah, so I don't feel so totally drained yet, and I still do have a fair bit of body fat on me. So this competition, shoot, I might lose. I might get very last place. Whatever though, I'm still just doing my best for now. It's not going to be the best possible condition that I could show up in, but I'm doing what I can. I'm going to show up. I'm going to have a good time. And it's going to be what it is. But I will say, I don't really think I could be disappointed in myself. I did what I did. I couldn't have done any better because if I could have, I would have. But I didn't, so I couldn't have, And that's just the name of the game, But doing the most we can. A lot of new faces here this morning. Pretty empty. Thursday morning around 7 a.m. Woke up on time today. Pretty good day. I'm not seeing any of my buddies though, which is weird. Usually I see somebody I know. Oh well. It's getting really cold too. It was like 45 degrees Fahrenheit this morning, like 11, 12 Celsius, maybe 13 or 14. I don't really know, but pretty dang cold. And while I don't enjoy the cold weather, what I am really dreading is the snow. So, yeah, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do another winter. I can't deal with the snow. It can be beautiful and everything, but when it's part of life in the way that the American life is, all it does is make driving dangerous, and like that's it. Like for me, especially with the wheelchair, it really, really limits my life. The snow, like it does and it doesn't, but it's not fun to go through the snow. So there's no more going for walks downtown or anything because it's really sludgy and gross, and it gets all like poopy brown because of just all the dirt from the streets, and it never gets cleaned up. You can't expect it to be so perfectly clean as if there were never any snow on the ground. There's always a little bit of ice or sludge or something. So, it reduces the amount of things that I'm going to do. I'm not going to go to a coffee shop and then walk to a park nearby and then go picnic and lay out in the sun in the shade or something. That's a summer thing. In the winter, I just stay inside pretty much all the time. Like what is there to even go do? Oh, that's weird. I hear talking, like it sounds like it's really close, but then there's no one nearby. Weird. Anyway, yeah, I don't think I have another winter in me, honestly. I got the Frontier Go Wild Pass, which is pretty cool. So it's like $300, and now it's like unlimited flights that are really cheap. So maybe I can go try to work remotely in other parts of the United States. Although that's not ideal because, I have to pay rent for where I live now, and then I would then have to pay, like for a hotel or an Airbnb or something, so I'd be double paying for housing. So it's not ideal, but I might do something like that because this morning it was so cold, and again, I'm okay with being a little cold, but I just thought, I don't think I have the energy. I don't think I have it's gonna destroy me. This winter is gonna destroy me. I am not ready for it. And also, I don't really do snow sports. A lot of people here, they go skiing or something like that, and I don't. It's not that fun, and it's expensive. Whatever. We'll see what happens. I'm really, really, really eager to move to Singapore. I love Singapore. Alright, let's do this workout. Now we are doing machine rows. So instead of scooping from under, we're kind of scooping from above, if that makes any sense. I'm thinking about, right now specifically, I'm thinking about after Olympia, what does my life look like? 2025, it feels like it's already over. Reflecting on kind of what I accomplished this year. I'm not totally proud of myself, but I am also, happy I made it to Olympia. I have since realized how kind of insignificant it is, just because of how many people are able to do it. Like for wheelchair bodybuilding, it's not that good. I did good because I know that, to get my pro card, I was up against like 10 other guys, quite a few. And then, I did the real deal. You know what I mean? I trained and conditioned and starved myself effectively for 25, 26 weeks. And that was legit. I showed up, more shredded than a lot of guys who aren't even competing in a wheelchair. So I'm proud of myself that I did that. I'm disappointed in myself about how I, ate food after and I kept relapsing and stuff. But I am proud of myself that I snapped out of it. It was not too late, but late. I'm now 3 weeks out and my conditioning is closer to what it might be 7 or 8 weeks out. I'm thinking though, after Olympia, I want to try my best to keep in a calorie deficit and continue to lose weight, continue to get a little bit more shredded, just to maybe make myself do it. I don't know. I might have a different mindset after Olympia, but I definitely don't want to start stuffing my face. Here's the difference. After I competed in Toronto and I got my Olympia qualification, my mindset was that, okay, now I can eat whatever food I want, but I have to go back to my diet in like 1 or 2 weeks. That messed me up because then I overate. But now if I'm like, okay, well, back to normal life, no more competitions, unless I qualify for next year's Olympia, maybe next year I'll only do the Olympia, that way I can have just one show to train for, because doing 3 shows in a year is insane. But anyway, if I'm thinking about maintaining a body that I want to have for just probably the rest of my life, now I'm going to think about it different. I'm not going to try to, stuff my face every day with delicacies and good, greasy, fatty foods, Like once a week I'll do it, but generally I like to live cheaply. Not cheap as in, like bad quality food, but I like to live, kind of stoically. So, beans, chicken, rice, eggs, just some basic food like yogurt maybe as well. And then that's it, so a very meager diet, and then, staying in a deficit most of the time, but then, maybe once or twice a week. I don't like to go out to eat for restaurants. I do not like restaurants at all, to be honest, but, making some good food at home, something like that, I think will definitely be, back on the menu. But if I can stay, really low calories after Olympia and not relapse too hard into a bunch of cheesecake and pizza and stuff, then when I go to Taiwan in late November, then I can really enjoy food. Because also Denver's not, there's some nice restaurants, but it's not that good here. There's good restaurants almost anywhere you go in a city, but compared to most other cities, Denver is not even on the list. So, it's like, why would I waste my calories here in Denver when I can just continue being in somewhat of a deficit, maybe get a little bit more shredded, have be a little bit more confident with my body and myself. And then when I go to Taiwan, I'll gain 20 pounds. That's kind of what I want to do. So that's the plan. That's the plan after Olympia. I'm going to try to avoid stuffing my face with a bunch of nasty foods. Okay, so keep me honest. Keep me honest with that, because after Olympia, everyone's gonna be like, "Come on, Cosmo, let's go to a buffet. I'll buy you a steak. I'll buy you a cheesecake. Stuff like that." Because I have my family. They want to support me. They want to treat me to good food after my diet. To be honest, I don't feel like I earned it or deserve it. I just combined those two words to say "earned it," and I don't feel that way. By the time I compete in Olympia, I'm not going to be proud with my body and myself, even though I am in a pretty strict calorie deficit for the next 3 weeks. I don't think I deserve to stuff my face, because I haven't actually been, I have been in a calorie deficit, but also I haven't. Because for the past 3 months, I kept relapsing. I would be in a deficit, I would eat yogurt, chicken, nothing else, and then I would relapse and I'd eat a bunch of junk, nasty food, and then I would just erase all my progress, and then the cycle would continue for 3 months. And this was a terrible, terrible time of my life. Mentally I was just shattered. My physiology, just my mental health overall, I just couldn't do it, and then I felt bad about it. All this because I did talk about this in all my videos, just how terrible I felt about myself. But so it doesn't make me feel like I deserve to go crazy with food, because I wasn't actually in a deficit for that long. I was, but I wasn't, So it's like I had a cheat meal almost once a week or every other week for 3 months. And it's like, okay, well, so why do I deserve now to eat a bunch of crazy food just because I'm done with the competition? Yeah, we celebrate, but I don't want to celebrate that. I don't think it's something I should, reinforce for myself. Just because I went to the Olympia and competed, and now that I'm done competing, unless I win, I don't deserve to eat any crazy good food. Just go back to chicken and rice and yogurt and beans and broccoli. That's it. That's my mindset about it. I'm hoping that I can do that though. After Olympia, just kind of continue to stay with this kind of lower calorie meal prep. Of course, I won't be doing 1,100 calories. I'll bump it up to maybe 1,400 or 1,500. But I'm going to try to stay in that type of deficit, for sure.